Hi, welcome to another episode of Beyond Chronic Disease. My name's Wendy Gathercole. I'm your host. How are you this week? Did you catch last week's episode? Are you dieting? Is it sustainable or not? So this week, talk about stress, stress, stress. So a really, really simple one. I had to go into the city, and I'm generally fine going into the city. The parking space that I want it to go into, though, is not real familiar for me. So I made a few little errors. And the first one was exiting off at the wrong exit off the damn highway, for one, which didn't make it pretty. And then the next one to get, to do that big blocky to go back, as you're, possibly aware, Brisbane is all one-way streets. So it's a little bit tricky in itself. But, I do know Brisbane a little bit. But unfortunately, I was in a far left turning lane, and I needed to be in the right left turning lane, which I didn't realize until I turned. So I ended up going for a little cruise along the river before I could do a big U-bolt and come back again. So not only once did I stuff up, but twice I stuffed up. Now, this can be one situation that is highly stressful for so many people, is taking the wrong turn, missing the turn, not being able to get in the lane. So you create a traffic hazard by darting across traffic. If that's your gig, well, then so be it. It's not mine. So, these things can be highly stressful for many. But for me, because I look at everything as a process, and I also was a little bit just with myself for missing that first turn off. But anyway, it all worked out because it was so much easier the second time around, or third time, should I say. I did it once wrong, I did it twice wrong. Okay, so third time round, it was so much easier. So it was not stressful for me. Okay, first of all, I left enough time just in case, of roadworks or traffic or anything like that. Not just in case I did, two errors in getting there, but all the rest of it, because we do have a bit of traffic around and we do have a few roadworks. So I left in ample time for that, which was great because it allowed me to get it wrong twice before I got it right. So it was a process. I stuffed it up the first time. And look, I do know where I'm going. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I do. So when I went somewhere the next time, I knew exactly how to get back and, all of that. So it was just like, doing a great big U-turn on the other side of the city, basically. But anyway, so that takes a little bit, with overpasses, underpasses, and all of the above. But it was just a process. Okay, I've got to get back there, and staying calm, because you cannot think in a heightened state of stress. You get anxious, you're all over the place, you're scared, you're fearful that you're going to make another mistake. You can't, you've got no more time left, so to get it right, it's a process. Then you can think calmly. Okay, when I do this, all right, top it off, I had the sat nav on too, so well. So follow that in. You got this. And then if you've seen my intuition versus logic, just the intuitive knowing took over. Okay. So when I exited off, I'm like, okay, yes, that's where I'm going to go. Excuse me. Going to go there. Yep, that was it. Not signpost it very well, but like I said, intuition basically knew where I had to be, and I got there eventually, but no stress involved. Okay. You cannot think, like I just said, you can't think in a state of heightened stress. Okay. I mean, I'm sure you know this. Everything just goes to shit, really. You get even more anxious, you get more scared, and you just can't think clearly at all. And some of us, break down on the side of the road and just in tears because we can't work out where to go. So look at everything as a process. Doesn't matter that you have to go another kilometer out of your way if you're doing it calm and controlled. And you know that, once you turn back, you'll be able to find where you are. It's only looking at, all the different ways that you can get there or not that perhaps can put you off track. And like I said, I do know the city. I don't know it very real well, which is why I stuffed up a couple of times, but I do know enough to get me back to where I needed to be. And I was, fine to do that. But I looked at the maps naturally, but also the intuition, because that's what tripped me up to start with. When I was coming into the city, I knew where I had to turn, and I looked up and went, oh, that's it there. But as soon as I did that, my intuition said, nah, it was the next one. And it was right, but you've already exited off, so you can't just get back on and go again. Not there. So a highly stressful situation for many was a calm experience for me because I've learned the process. Everything's a process. There's no stress involved. It's just a process. So once we can all, and I mean all society really needs to learn this, because then we won't have so many stressful, anxious, overwhelmed, neurotic people that are struggling to function in their everyday life, which I know is terrible because I've been there many years ago, which is why I say this. It's a process. We need to look at everything as a process. If you really can't navigate a city, then don't drive. That's a process in itself. That's a step that you take. I'm all about ease as well. If there's something that doesn't come easy to you, well, don't do it. If driving in the city is not your gig, ask somebody to give you a lift, or catch a cab, an Uber, catch public transport. All of those things can take that stress off a situation if you can't cope with that anyway. So it's all about being able to cope with everyday situations in a calm, serene manner for your well-being. And like I said, if that means that you get somebody to take you public transport or whatever it may be, take a deep breath, look at the steps from A to B, what you need to do to get there, ask somebody get some assistance. All of these things to alleviate this heightened state of stress that many of us suffer every day and make our life a living hell. Because I know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel if you take everything in your stride and think of everything as a process. No stress, just a process. So until next week, I will see you then. Remember, no stress. Bye.